Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something really fascinating: hidden diversity, specifically navigating culture within a shared faith. We're going to take a really close look at the cultural landscape of the Maldives. Now, from the outside looking in, you might think it looks incredibly uniform. But today, we're going to see how people navigate differences in a deeply interconnected society. It's a place where all citizens share a single religion, but right beneath that unifying umbrella, there's this wildly rich, complex web of cultural diversity just thriving. Here's our roadmap for today. First, shared faith, diverse cultures. Second, the real root of conflict. Third, strategies for cultural harmony. And finally, mapping needs to actions. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, Shared Faith, Diverse Cultures.
So there's this really pervasive myth out there. It's the assumption that just because everyone in a society shares Islam, their lived cultural experience must be exactly the same. But the reality, it's far different. The day-to-day experience across the islands is beautifully distinct. We're talking about incredibly unique island traditions blending with massive global influences, especially from things like tourism, international business, and public service.
Now, don't get me wrong, the unity is very real. Islam gives Maldivians this incredible shared moral foundation. It creates a powerful baseline for how people should treat one another, values like respect, compassion, justice, peaceful coexistence, and dignity for all people. These are deeply embedded in the society. This is literally the bedrock. This shared faith is what brings everyone together and gives them a common language of morality. But, and this is a big but, within that shared faith, an absolute explosion of diversity thrives. Every single island, family, and community has its own traditions. For example, the distinct dialects spoken in the southern atolls compared to the capital Malay carry their own unique social cues. You've got varying social norms around family gatherings, and even distinct professional cultures where, say, traditional fishing customs meet high-speed international business. Add to that the modern interactions with expats and international partners, and it's a huge mix. Recognizing this diversity is actually what strengthens national unity.
Moving on to Section 2, the real root of conflict.
Okay, this right here is a total game changer for how we view social friction. Clashes almost never stem from core religious beliefs. Actually, when you look closely, you see that most conflicts pop up because of differences in communication styles, completely different expectations, and unmet emotional needs. Think about the last time you had a misunderstanding with a colleague or a neighbor. It probably wasn't a deep philosophical debate, right? It usually boils down to something like this. One person values directness and equality, speaking bluntly just to get straight to the point. Meanwhile, the other person expects a much more indirect, subtle approach, maybe rooted in community norms that emphasize hierarchy and saving face. Some families love that directness. Others find it profoundly uncomfortable. Recognizing what actually causes that discomfort prevents tiny misunderstandings from blowing up into massive conflicts. Which brings us to Section 3, Strategies for Cultural Harmony. So how do we actually handle this? Well, our source material outlines 10 core strategies, and we can group them into a really dynamic chronological progression. It starts from within and moves outward. Step 1 is internal awareness. Step 2 is outward communication. And Step 3 is community action. Let's walk through how this actually works in the real world. Starting with Step 1, it's all about building empathy internally. This means developing cultural awareness. Basically learning how specific island backgrounds shape behavior and acknowledging that two people with the exact same faith might have entirely different expectations. It also requires cultural humility. This is the acceptance that your way of doing things just isn't the only way. And of course, continuous learning is vital because let's face it, culture is always evolving. This internal awareness is absolutely crucial because it stops bad assumptions before you even speak a word. Next up, we take that internal mindset and push it outward into Step 2. Outward communication. This means practicing respectful communication, using polite, inclusive language, and dodging stereotypes about people from certain regions. It involves conflict sensitivity, which is understanding those cultural triggers we just talked about. And crucially, it requires everyday empathy. Ask people about their experiences. Treat them as individuals instead of generalizing based on where their family is from. This matters because communication styles differ wildly even within the same faith community, and active listening bridges that gap. Finally, we scale the whole thing up for Step 3, community action. This is where we build real systemic cohesion. We do it through shared values building, focusing on common goals like safety and progress.
We implement inclusive decision-making, making sure women, youth, and elders all have a real voice. We foster cultural exchange to build familiarity, and we establish clear shared rules so expectations are totally fair for everyone. Why does this matter? Because inclusion and clear rules literally drain the social tension right out of a community.
And that leads us to our final section, Part 4, Mapping Needs to Actions.
Now, this is fascinating. Beneath all the local customs and dialects, there's this underlying foundation of universal emotional needs. Regardless of which island someone is from, we all want the exact same things: to feel respected, heard, safe, valued, and included. Meeting these basic human needs is the ultimate secret sauce to unlocking cooperation.
Let's map it out practically. If someone needs respect, your strategy is to learn their customs and use polite language. If they need a sense of belonging, create inclusive shared activities. To provide safety, you set clear, fair rules. For understanding, you've got to practice active listening. And for recognition, you actively celebrate their cultural contributions. It's basically a diagnostic tool. Find the unmet need, apply the exact right strategy, and boom, you build mutual trust.
As our interconnected society keeps evolving and the Maldives continues blending local tradition with global interaction, our understanding just has to grow right alongside it. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Knowing that our shared faith is the foundation, but our diverse cultures are the building blocks, how will you apply these empathy-driven strategies to transform your own daily interactions today? Thanks for exploring this with me on The Explainer. Keep learning and keep listening.